Amazon has reached another big milestone, but something tells us that the company isn't too happy with this one. Why? Because Amazon has just become the first public company to lose $1 trillion in market value. However, it was also one of the first companies to reach a valuation of $1 trillion in the first place. But the recent decline reflects market anxiety over the global economic slowdown. Stay tuned as we discuss this massive drop. First up, the massive decline in market value. Amazon is the first public company in the world to lose $1 trillion in market value. The reason behind this is rising inflation, tighter monetary policies, and disappointing earnings reports, all of which led to a historic sell-off of the stock. The e-commerce and cloud company shares fell 4.3%, bringing its market value down to about $879 billion from a record close of $1.88 trillion in July 2021. Amazon and Microsoft were in a close race to reach the unwelcome milestone. The Windows software company was close behind, having lost $889 billion since its peak in November 2021. Even though technology and growth stocks have been hit hard this year, fears of a recession have made things even worse. The market value of the top 5 U.S. tech companies by sales has dropped by almost $4 trillion this year alone. The world's biggest online retailer also had to deal with a sharp slowdown in e-commerce growth as shoppers went back to their habits before the pandemic. Its shares have dropped by almost 50% because sales are slowing, costs are going up, and interest rates are going up. According to data gathered by Bloomberg, co-founder Jeff Bezos' wealth has dropped by about $83 billion since the beginning of the year. Last month, Amazon reported that its revenue growth for the holiday quarter would be the slowest in the company's history. That's probably because shoppers are more cautious when spending due to the uncertainty of the global economy. Amazon's market value dropped below $1 trillion for the first time since tech stocks went up in 2020. Moving on to how Amazon is handling the loss. The recent drop shows that the market is worried about the slowdown in the world economy, led by the United States. Meta and other companies have recently announced huge layoffs as a way to cut down on operating costs. So, is Amazon next in line for a mass layoff? Since people couldn't go out, online stores like Amazon saw a huge increase in traffic and sales after the COVID-19 pandemic. As the pandemic died down, the rush of people slowed down, and the increase in interest rates slowed the sales down even more. Investors were disappointed by Amazon's earnings for the third quarter, but the company's prediction of less than 8% year-on-year growth made them even less confident. According to CEO Andy Jassy, the third quarter earnings report revealed that a lot is going on in the macroeconomic environment, and the company will have to make sure that our investments are well balanced so that they are easier to manage without putting our key long-term strategic bets at risk. That means the company needs to make some massive changes, and Amazon opted for the more welcoming approach. Instead of a massive layoff like other tech companies, Amazon decided to expand its hiring freeze to make sure its employees were covered. In a memo, Beth Galetti, Amazon's Senior Vice President of People Experience and Technology, said that the slowdown was mostly due to an uncertain economic outlook and a rise in hiring over the past few years. Next, what are the experts' predictions for Amazon stocks? As of November 11, 2022, the price of Amazon stock is $96.530, and the data shows that the price has been going down for the past year, or since its inception. The price of Amazon stock has been showing a tendency to decline, so experts believe that the market segment wasn't very popular during the time period given. There are a lot of things that go into predicting stock values, like changes in volume, price, market cycles, and similar stocks. Whether or not you should add Amazon to your portfolio is up to you, but the stocks are likely to increase significantly in a year. According to experts, Amazon stock will see an increase of 149.79% and will be worth $249.79 after a year. This means that if you put away $100 right now, it might be worth $249.79 on November 11, 2023. Amazon isn't alone when it comes to declining stocks. It seems that all tech companies together have it rough. Let's talk about other big companies that suffered big losses. Amazon may be remembered as the first publicly traded U.S. company to do this, but it is not the only company feeling the heat of the coming recession. Bill Gates started Microsoft and might as well have taken this unwanted crown. The company's stock has lost $889 billion in value since its peak in November last year. Microsoft went from being worth $2.49 trillion to just $1.67 trillion now. Apple was worth more than $3 trillion earlier this year, but it has dropped to $2.14 trillion now. In a nutshell, Gizmodo said in its report that the top 5 tech companies in the US have lost more than $3 trillion in value this year. That's more than the GDPs of Switzerland, Argentina, and Turkey put together. Yikes! As the Federal Reserve tightens, the most valuable companies in the country lose trillions of dollars in market capitalization capitalization. That means the number of companies in the trillion-dollar club is shrinking rapidly. Finbold, a company that analyzes the stock market, also confirmed that Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, and Alphabet, the parent company of Google, have all lost a total of $3.4 trillion in value this year. Since January 1st, a company's market capitalization, which is the total value of all its shares of stock, has dropped by 34%. A finance professor at the Wharton School of Business, David Musto, said that it's a lot of money, but there's still hope and confidence left in these companies. But these are dangerous times. Moving on to how the stock fared for these companies in 2022. In 2021, the stocks did well, so the losses in 2022 are a surprise. During the pandemic, demand for enterprise cloud services went through the roof. Both Microsoft and Apple added more than 50% to their cloud services in 2021 to keep up with Amazon Web Services. Apple is a tech investor favorite, and its stock value went up by more than 37% last year. Meta was able to gain more than 23% despite regulatory and cultural worries, and investors kept Netflix's sky-high valuation even as its pandemic gains started to fade and membership growth slowed. But the new year brought a war in Europe, hard to ignore inflation numbers, and the promise of higher interest rates. The numbers are huge, making up about a third of the about $9 trillion in market capital that was lost when the S&P 500 fell 21% this year. The FANG and Microsoft stocks have lost $3.33 trillion, which is more than the gross domestic products of some of the world's largest economies. With a GDP of $3.188 trillion for 2021, the United Kingdom is the fifth largest country. The loss is also bigger than the gross domestic product of India, which was $3.174 trillion in 2021. We think it's safe to say that 2022 is the year that tech giants will want to forget once they get back to where they were. Next up, Finbold's report. Due to high inflation, rising interest rates, and growing fears of a recession, the Nasdaq Composite has fallen more than 33% so far this year. Using data from November 3rd, Finbold found that Apple's market value fell 18%, from $2.9 trillion to $2.3 trillion, which is the highest market value. Microsoft, Alphabet, and Tesla all lost more than 34% of their value, while Amazon lost 45%. The main reason for the drop, according to Finbold's report, is that inflation and rising interest rates have changed the way the market works. The report also said that the tech giants no longer have the reputation of being safe stocks that investors could buy when the market was unstable. Petra Moser, an economics professor at New York University, said that the loss in market value will probably affect jobs. Several tech companies like Snap Inc., Meta, and Robinhood have already announced or are planning to announce massive layoffs. Moser told US Today that he believes innovation will also slow down as the companies lay off more employees and fewer people are doing the work that needs to be done. Moser also said that the company's stock prices were hugely inflated. At the beginning of the year, 5 companies were worth more than $1 trillion. But now, Apple, Microsoft, and Alphabet are the only companies left in the trillion-dollar club. A portion of the market believes that the current price of the tech stock shouldn't cause concern, but who's to say what the future holds? That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Amazon can manage the situation if they continue to avoid layoffs? And will the stock market for the tech sector stabilize? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.